Hey guys, it's Daish again, and I'm back with another video to help your table tennis. Now, if you've watched last week's video, you will hopefully know the 3 most important food groups to eat if you are serious about your diet as table tennis players. You'll also remember some of the guidelines for how much we should be eating of each of these food groups on a daily basis to ensure top physical performance when playing table tennis. If you haven't already watched that video, go and check that out first before watching this week's video, as that will really help you out, I think, with your knowledge about an athlete's diet. But if you did in fact enjoy last week's video, you will also know about Jenny House, a nutritionist graduate who has supplied me with the really important info to make these videos possible. She recently started an amazing blog called The House Special, which looks about as professional as websites come. The blog has a number of tasty looking recipes and treats for us to cook and enjoy, and I believe a section on nutrition will be coming out soon, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Jenny also has a specific Instagram account about all the mouth-watering food she creates. So if you're a food lover like me and you're serious about your athlete's diet, do go and follow her account. Right then, let's get into today's video. So this week's video, I want to highlight some really interesting facts and points about diets. Now, hopefully you'll remember from last week's video the importance of carbs in your diets as table tennis players. Just to give a quick recap though on carbs, they provide the main source of energy to our body, keeping us at optimal physical performance whilst playing sports in general. However, did you know that there are good and less good carbs for you to eat? Enter the Glycaemic Index System, or GI for short. Low GI carbs are basically carbs that are digested, absorbed, and metabolized more slowly than high GI carbs. All of this results in a lower and slower rise in blood sugar in the form of glucose, which is better for our bodies than a higher rise, obviously. However, there's one problem with the glycemic index system, and that is that the GI of a food is calculated as if that food were eaten by itself, which in reality doesn't really usually happen. Things like the way the food is cooked and what else is eaten alongside the food can really affect the GI, unfortunately. In other words, guys, it's important to try and eat low GI carbs if you can, but you need to realize that it doesn't help much if you are not thinking about other things which can actually affect the GI of those particular foods. So what are some examples of low GI foods? Well, you can never go wrong with some green vegetables. They are most definitely a good place to start. Other foods such as kidney beans, chickpeas and lentils and whole grain alternatives to starchy foods such as pasta are also great. Just make sure you aren't deep fat frying them. But I want to talk a little bit more about the importance of starchy foods in our diets. Starchy foods are a great source of energy for us, but that's not all. They generally contain good amounts of fiber, calcium, iron and B vitamins. However, as mentioned, you should really try to eat whole grain alternatives to starchy foods, as they usually have a lower GI, meaning that spike in blood sugar levels should be smaller, allowing you to feel fuller for longer. This doesn't mean you can't have the occasional white rice or pasta or bread, for example. It just means you should try and limit them if you possibly can. But moving on from carbs to proteins though, guys, I want to touch upon the subject of protein supplements and shakes and whether we should take them as table tennis players. Now, this is a really interesting topic for me personally. I've been considering taking protein supplements quite a lot over the last few years actually. I thought I would include a quote from our nutritionist Jenny House on this subject to help enlighten us on the topic. Jenny says that it is usually recommended to choose food over supplements and drinks. I think the important thing is to check the amount of protein you are consuming between 30 minutes and 2 hours after training. We recommend between 15 and 25 grams of protein with carbohydrates. Also, most people in the UK consume more than the recommended amounts of protein, so it's unlikely that you'll need to increase your protein intake if you train for 150 minutes per week. Any more exercise than this and you'll probably need to increase your protein intake to approximately 1.2 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. So in general, guys, I think that if you felt like it's a necessity to take protein supplements as a table tennis player, it really isn't. That's not to say it couldn't benefit you, of course, depending on the intensity and amount of table tennis you'll play. However, the chances are that you're probably actually eating enough protein as it is. One thing I personally would suggest though, if you're interested in protein shakes, is to watch out for the sugar content within them. It seems to be that they can contain actually a lot of sugar, which probably is not a good thing. That actually leads me on to the last topic of today's video: sports drinks, are they necessary or is water sufficient? Sports drinks can indeed be useful for high level sports, such as marathon training. But I think, generally speaking, they are not recommended for exercise if it's for fun or fitness reasons. The reason for this is that they can contain a really high level of sugar. Jenny says, if we eat well, make sure to have something carbohydrate based before and after exercise, we hopefully shouldn't need sports drinks and water should be fine. So there we have it guys. I really hope you enjoyed this week's video. Once again, do go follow Jenny's blog and Instagram for all of your nutritional needs. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos made especially to help improve your table tennis. All the best everyone and stay safe.